The U.S. Supreme Court and cybercrime, 4 landmark decisions. This video briefly discusses 4 U.S. Supreme Court cases focusing on cybercrime. Cybercrime is a growing concern, and the United States Supreme Court has played a crucial role in shaping the legal landscape surrounding it. In this video, we discuss some of the Supreme Court cases that have dealt with cybercrime and their implications. Packingham v. North Carolina involving the First Amendment. Packingham v. North Carolina is a case that was heard by the court in 2017. The case involved a North Carolina statute that prohibited registered sex offenders from using social media websites. Lester Packingham, a registered sex offender, was convicted of violating the statute after he posted a message on Facebook thanking God for the dismissal of a traffic ticket. Packingham argued that the statute violated his First Amendment right to free speech. The Supreme Court held that the North Carolina statute was unconstitutional because it violated the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which protects freedom of speech. The court found that social media sites like Facebook and Twitter are important platforms for speech and that the North Carolina statute was too broad in its prohibition of access to these sites. The court held that the statute was not narrowly tailored to serve the government's interest in protecting minors from sexual predators and that it was not the least restrictive means of achieving that interest. The Packingham decision has significant implications for the use of social media by registered sex offenders and for the regulation of social media more broadly. The decision recognizes the importance of social media as a platform for speech and expression and limits the government's ability to restrict access to these platforms. The decision also highlights the need for clear rules governing a compelling government interest. Carpenter v. United States involving the Fourth Amendment. Digital evidence is becoming increasingly important in criminal investigations, and the Supreme Court has dealt with several cases involving digital evidence. In the case of Carpenter v. United States, the court held that the government must obtain a warrant to access an individual's cell phone location data. This decision has significant implications for digital privacy and the use of digital evidence in criminal investigations. Riley v. California involving the Fourth Amendment. In Riley v. California, the court held that the police must obtain a warrant to search an individual's cell phone. This decision recognized the importance of digital privacy and the need for clear rules governing the use of digital evidence in criminal investigations. Twitter v. Tomna involving the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act. The case that was heard by the court in 2023. The situation involved allegations that Twitter, Facebook, and Google aided and abetted ISIS in a terrorist attack on a nightclub in Istanbul, Turkey. The plaintiffs, who were injured in the attack, invoked the Anti-Terrorism Act to sue the social media companies, arguing that because these platforms did not act sufficiently aggressively to take down terrorist content, they should be held liable for ISIS acts of terrorism. The Supreme Court held that the plaintiffs failed to state a claim under the Anti-Terrorism Act. The allegations failed to show that Twitter, Facebook, or Google gave knowing and substantial assistance to ISIS that rose to the necessary level of culpability. The court's decision in Twitter, Inc. v. Tomna has implications for the use of social media in terrorist activities. The decision supports the position that social media platforms will not be held accountable for terrorism merely because their platforms are generally open to all. Conclusion. In conclusion, the United States Supreme Court has played a crucial role in shaping the legal landscape surrounding cybercrime. The cases discussed in this video are just a few examples of the many cases the court has dealt with involving cybercrime. As technology continues to advance, it is likely that the Supreme Court will continue to play an important role in shaping the legal landscape surrounding cybercrime.